Hey guys, this is going to be a work of a Kodak Supermatic lens with a high post on it. Just trading the other lens to get the high post feature so I can hook it to a modern flash. Yeah, looks like I gave up my timer, but picked up a high post, which is pretty cool. Same Ectar lens. Nice clear optics. So, yeah. Glass off there so it's more visible. This lens looks a little better condition, a little dry. It seems to freeze through some of its settings. A little sticky, a little tight. So it just needs a little bit of TLC overall. So we're going to start by taking its faceplate off and see what we walked into. In a way, it looks like this faceplate is a little more difficult to free. If I can bump it free from the body. I apologize, I'm not super familiar with this lens, so first time breaking it down. Let's take out the armature here, just so I can free up the body a little bit. Let's see here. Usually I got 2 screws onto here, but this guy only has 1. Well, I need to look at the official manual for this. Okay, bear with me. This should just be the traditional lens removal. Which is interesting because body be right back. Okay, also I think I found the solution. So for my last lens, the number 2, they changed styles, so now it's just one screw. Simple twist, and she's free. This faceplate is definitely a bit gummed up, so I have to clean that. So right away I noticed that my other one had a whole timing mechanism, so it had the timing lever, which this one did not come with. So the timing gear is empty. I want the timing mechanism that would have run with that last one. In some ways, not bad. As you can see here, timing ring just for comparison. So as you select your times when your shutter is cocked, you have different phases of the shutter. And as that moves, you can see it moves your gear in and out. And these are all your slow speeds. As we rotate, you'll notice that that now drops down and you're at your end. So that's where you're in your high speeds. So take the ring off again. That ring's very dirty, very sticky, needs a good cleaning. Lots of goop, we're going to want to get all that off. That's probably why you're running slow. So got your trigger, got your face, your little weight for your 400. Again, really sticky, really tight. So we are going to dive deeper and see what we can fix. Given that the shutter blades are clean, I am not going to open the shutter blades today. We're only going gear def. Blades can be a whole different round of fun that nobody wants. Please note that these bodies are indicated by a top post. Top post goes on top. Top post is a small screw. The other 2 screws are actually a lot longer. Reassembly, you can't go too wrong on that. They, you'll know. That screw's a little bit wider, so I'm going to grab my bigger bit and see if I can get it out. These are brass, so do not strip them. They strip easily, and yeah, so just don't. Pulls out, that's just lift off. Come out clean, mar-free. It's very greasy. Will need to be cleaned. So, what do we got on lens body? That cocks. As you can see, that tightens. trigger fires. Traditionally, this is waiting for something, so this is a flash bulb, and that will trigger after that. Release it. So, yeah. Again, we are missing the whole timer mechanism that would be right here. The lens is not a timer lens. I traded my lens in for a timer lens. It looks like this does, however, trigger the flash strobe when it strikes. So, curious what this ring does here. That's new for me. We are going to dive into this and take this guy apart. This particularly is what can cause it to run slow. Needs to be greased. These gears can be slow. We will dig in these, but they're pretty clean. So yeah, this guy will just lift it off, notate there is a spring, and we'll go through the reinstall that later. There is a nut right here. I would recommend doing a socket. I don't have a socket handy, so I'm just going to grab a small pliers and gently remove it. Shouldn't be on there too tight. So, take that off. Again, typically I would use a proper tool, but we're not gonna. Oh, and before we do this guy, we're actually going to want to disconnect the spring. Otherwise, we're gonna send parts flying. Not a good time. We're just gonna grab. Actually, that's got a leg on too. Couldn't think about it. So, best course of action is just slowly disassemble the gear train. Again, smaller bit for those screws. This spring right here is making me worry. Again, that is new, so once I get this open, I will cautiously open this, but hopefully I don't lose parts to the rest of the room. Again, please keep your screws organized in a fashion that matters. Yeah, each screw is different. They are small, and they will get lost. So these typically just lift right up after those two screws come out. So let's see how the spring was seated. Looks like we had a small clock spring. It looks like that clock spring was actually anchored on this post for the screw. So let's not lose that spring. As you can see, we have a basic clock mechanism, gears that spin. We got the highs and lows. This cog actually looks a little worn, but not bad. So take your gears out. I recommend keeping them in the order they come out. Got the cog next on that. Apparently my pliers have been magnetized. It's both a sin and a blessing sometimes with these. Delta. And this guy right here actually going to want to unwind. It looks like it's actually wound already, so that's good. Pull that guy up. That'll come with its spring. That then leaves us our timer lever here. Again, spring right here. Don't let go flying. Take the screw off. This will just gently lift up. Mind that spring so it doesn't go flying. Should not go flying, but just make sure you don't lose it. And that should then release our arm, we need to undo the spring holding the arm down. Then very gently drop it. This whole assembly should pick right out. Since we're here, we might as well tear down the rest of this body quick. It's only one screw. Be good to clean the whole surface. Again, undo that spring right there. If you do not, this spring will end up in Narnia, and you'll never find it again. So we're just gonna do this guy. This does come with a washer on the bottom, spring washer end screw, so just make sure you keep track of that. Outlift this whole assembly. So get this assembly lift out. Looks like she is stuck up on something. What are we stuck on? This should just lift right up, so let's grab our handy pliers. That might just be, there we go. Yeah, it's just tight. So again, probably due for good cleaning. Blade number 1. Oof, she's stuck in there. Okay, both of them are out. That puts us back at a flat body. Again, flash mechanism that strikes back, full aperture, hits the synchro flash, and then after we trigger that flash, as you can see, this opens up, creates a contact, creates a ground, shoots a signal down this blue wire straight to your high points. Which, again, we're not going to mess with the mechanism right now. That being said, our f-stop functions beautifully. It's not overly dirty, so we are going to leave that alone. Same with our shutter. Moves perfectly. We do not want to dissect it today unless we have to. We're just going to let that one lie. Typically, we just use a basic, lighter fuel, something light. Little solvent to scrub these devices and clean them. I do have some specialty Q-tips that are made for cleaning sensitive equipment. So we use those, we'll dab with the tip of it. And we're going to give the face just a little cleaning, get some of the old gunky oil off that's causing timing delays. Pay attention to this guy, because this guy right here is, if this is sticky, your whole lens is slow. This is more than likely causing a lot of your timer delay issues because it pivots. Grease gets old. People use wrong grease. Causes plenty of issues. So bear with me as we scrub down all these faces. Again, you don't use a ton, but it's a very low risk process. Just be gentle. But make sure you get this whole face nice and clean. Lighter fuel is a quick evaporating compound, so should relatively be very low. It does look like this lens has not ever been, in my opinion, taken apart. Looks like it's first time cleaning it. Lots of the original feeling oils in it. this once more. Again, get this guy very thoroughly clean. I'm going to take my time and work my way back that way. And just pay extra special attention to get all this gunk off our top post. Just going to feel around, and it feels clean to the touch, no longer sticky, no longer oopy goopy. It looks like I missed a little bit in the back, so we're just gonna clean you up. Okay, when it comes to lubrication, my go-to is the Super Lube multi-synthetic oil. There's other brands out there, but this is a cheap, locally available oil, and it seems to work. When it comes to lenses at the factory, there's a very, very finite amount of coating of oil, not much. You don't really want to see oil. It's more of a tool, not a thing. I typically like to just, as you can barely even see the drop I put on there, but this oil works as a capillary action, and it works its way into the spots it works. So again, I'm wiping my tip, doing the most minuscule amount of oil application possible. Again, it will get capillarily sucked into the gears and self-lubricate. Just gonna operate the. And over time, this will work its way deeper into that shutter and just keep lubricated. I cannot stress enough to not get oil on your lenses. Once your shutters get oil on them, they will start to jam, they'll go slow, they get dirt, gunk caught up on them, and they will get scratched. So just don't, not a good idea. Those lenses, these blades do just have a little bit, so we're just going to give them a quick swab. Let that dry. Aperture on this one looks decent. So yeah, we're not going to play with that too much tonight. And also it's rebuild. So first things first. Again, these are full oil, so I'm going to give these a brief wipe down before reassembly. Paint them, just get the gunk off them. Sticky binding is most of your reasons why your lenses are slow and non-responsive. Even if you have oil, this would be your number one task of cleaning lenses, just to clean with lighter fluid. Get oil application. This lens could run for years without oil application, just fine. But if somebody wants less maintenance, it's a good security. So let's get the rest of this cleaned. So we have a little bit of wear on this latch. Some scuff marks there. Okay, so this guy feels nice and clean. Okay, so along with the oil, I'm going to make sure that post has just a dab of oil on it. Again, capillary action. Not a ton, that's actually way too much. Maybe I'll grab a cleaning Q-tip that I'm not using and use it to just dab something off. Again, very little, you can barely tell there's oil on there, but there is. So these blades, as you look, will stack. They only stack one way. You can only put them in one way. Stack the bigger on top, they ain't gonna work. You know, there's a hump. So both face up, both on top of each other, and voila. These will then stack into your carrier. As you see, your flash hook faces out, and then you'll just, sorry, upside down, finagle them in. And once assembled, you should have them roughly sitting in your carrier. Note these two springs, they just sit on the casing. They're very fine. We will fix those into it once they get in, but as long as they're flipped back, we're good. You'll casually, this is where it gets hard, slide these down the post. So, get away from me there. Rebuild. Keep the springs tight. We're going to go around the chassis, get that out of the way. Sorry. Okay. Lots of small parts, folks. Kind of stressing enough, you have to be comfortable working with very small spaces. Swing that out. And then again, we will, this post right here, we're just going to slide it back onto its home. Come on, guys. Yeah, this is one of the more irritating parts of trying to get these two to stack in there and, you know, play nice. So, got them, bear with me, I need to pull it back just a little bit so I can see here. Come on. Looks like I'm on the post for the first one. Get that second guy to drop down. So, as you can see, I'm on the post. Just getting those two to fit. And voila, we are on the mechanism. This is the tricky part where you will have two springs, and it looks like I did not get both springs up there, so I'm redoing this yet again. So pick these up. Sorry about that. Looks like these two are both very tight tolerances. Bottom spring, that bottom spring is right tucked in here, got spun around. So we'll fix all this. Just because these are so tight on tolerances, I'm just going to give them a dab of oil. Just a microscopic amount. Gonna keep the springs up. Cage. Just gonna slide them over their post. Bear with me. Okay, looks like I got them on their post. Okay, so those are on. We're going to grab their two little springs, and we're just going to flip them over into the chassis, just on the case right there. Perfect. Bottom one's in, top one's in. They'll seat better. And last but not least, set this cover back onto its little prong here. You'll see everything's good. Springs are tight. Back on our post. Next comes our retention screws. Let me find that quick. One moment. Folks, I apologize, I'll be right back. I need to locate the screws that were here. Looks like they might have gotten bumped somewhere. Okay, sorry about that, folks. My screw did take a tumble. So traditionally, this screw will not stay together as nice as it is. It's surprising that the screw and the washer are staying together, so we're just going to leave it like that. It can be a fine art to get them together, but since they're fine, we're just going to put them in. So as you see, pretty lever action there. Pretty innocent. We're going to take the spring and loop it back around the post. So now you should see a nice spring tension. Both levers are moving easily. And again, you have to be very, very conservative with oil, but we're just going to put a little. Oh, it's actually too much. When I say little, I mean a little. We're just going to put a little capillary there to have a little bit in the opening. And over time, as those move, those will stay lubricated. Again, not much. So, we got that guy back in. This is one of the main mechanisms that we need to keep clean. This one's very gunky and sticky. So, let's clean this guy up quick. Just a little lighter fluid. Available at most smoke shops. Should dissolve pretty much everything with little impact. Look at all that grease. Okay, we're getting this all cleaned out. Bottom is well scrubbed, just got the top portion here. Get you nice clean, get some of that varnish off there. Got a clean body. I mean, this body is well known as 50 years old, and it looks like it's never been serviced. So, kind of a testament to how well this stuff works. Just gonna give it a shoot of fluid on the shaft. And reattach that spring that fell off. Back through its hole like so. So, if you're going to lube any point, this is the shaft that needs to lube. This is your brains of your whole mechanism. On the back side here, there is a groove. This groove rides along your shutter gear. That's your cock and everything. That's what controls your whole camera. So, again, we're going to clean our tip. I'm going to put the slightest amount ever. And capillary action will suck this into our gear. So we're going to just rim the shaft. slide this guy back on. Again, that has to sit in there, so slide it till it sits. We're locked in. We're going to replace the tension nut on top. Again, doesn't need to be super tight, this is brass, so just gonna give this enough tightness to where it's tight, but not too tight. So I have now hit the max tightness, so we will then come in here. Over here we will reset our spring, and then we'll grab other spring, drag it back down, connect it to its anchor point, whistle gently. Okay, we're on. As you can see now, shutter operates lightning fast. Got a little bit of oil drip through, so we're just going to come through and clean that. That's why I am very hesitant about oiling these areas, because the oil will get your lens and cause issues. But again, see how lightning fast that lens response is before? That was freezing, that was sluggish. Again, this is your lifeblood of your camera. If this is oily, it's not working. So, with that back on, I guess we start our next phase rebuild of our aperture arm. Again, little leg inside. A very, very small dab of oil. Just for light lubrication. Set you on your post. Center that spring in there. After a bit of work, it should slide right down onto its post. And then we just take the spring and wrap it around the post right there and make sure it's seated. Okay, we are now seated on that post like we want to be. That's perfect. Please make sure we reinstall the cap screw. Don't forget that one. That's where this can get tricky, is that small screw. So set you in there. Come on, land in your own. Please bear with me, these can be the bane of all existence. Sometimes patience is key. Okay, I think we got her set. Again, it doesn't have to be torque tight, just tensioned, and you will see cocked, see that now. The cam kicks open that. That's part of your timing mechanism. So this is currently running in bulb mode, or I guess long exposure mode. So first click is open. Traditionally, your cam gear here would stop that, and second gear is closed. So again, first gear is going to initiate your cam. Traditionally, what would happen is if you're not doing long exposure, this will help trigger the rest of that, but we're not. So awesome. Well, let's start the casual reassembly of this. Now, again, as you can see, there's hardly, and it's a little blurry there, but there's hardly any lube on my skewer. I mean, you can't even see it. We're just going to gently touch the holes. Try to keep it from too much. On the shaft. That'll keep this guy working great for yours. So, grab our spring. Just gonna give this guy a little scrub. Just a little bit of tarnish on the bottom. So, spring, short side in, long side out. So we tension it, it gets tight. Just set that one back on its post. Okay, this is where my handy dandy skewer comes along. Simply build mush kebab, set on top of the post, drop it back on its home. Nice and simple. And as I said before, up and over, and she's locked in. Sometimes this is just better for job. We're gonna go up. Come on. Just getting challenged and down. I apologize. I may have stuck the gear backwards. Yes, I did. So. The long end should be on the bottom of the gear. I apologize for that. You'll notice right away because you won't have tension when you drop it in. Come on. Oh, I did it right. Okay. Yes, I got it right. So my apologies. So. Again, set the spring in. Set it on screw hole. We'll drop around its home. So great. One more moment, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. So next, fun little piece that goes in is the Pac-Man gear. Pac-Man gear just drops back on to the piece where it's put in. There we go. There's a gear between these two middle, so you have 3 gears. Where you want to drop the center gear first, just because the center gear is going to be the main of all this. I think I'm in. Yep. Next comes our timer cog. Looks like the tool's magnetized, so that is always fun. Then our final gear. Okay, now we have all the core components installed, and that just leaves us our split timer. So this gear has a little bit of sticky to it. Just come in here and clean the brass, get some of the sticky off. So we look underneath. Also the sticky, there's some of the goop. And now this gear is rotating freely, which is really nice. Okay, setting this back will be a very gentle process. You do have your micro gears there. Mind you, it's very thin hairspring. Also goes underneath the screw. So that'll be another challenge to seat. I think what we're going to do is we're going to just maybe sort of screw again. My other blends did not have this, so this is a new feature for me. Spring is so small, I don't honestly even know what it could help. So, but they put it there for a reason, so we will keep it. Okay, and the spring is on. Will it stay? That is the question. But we will keep it just looped over. And with this cog gear, we do want this set as neutral left as or neutral left counterclockwise as possible to this cam gear. And that's what controls your timing. So just gently set this back down over its top. It'll rotate you back in place. Okay, I don't see that spring, so it looks like I have to reset once quick. The spring's right there. Let's give this one more shot. Okay. my meat hands. I apologize. We'll set this back up. Onto the spring. And go for round 2 of trying to slide this on without losing the spring. Looks like it's set. We're going to try to start the screw on the back here. Just lose the spring. Proving more difficult than I thought. Because I just lost the spring from the gear. So. Let's try to reset the detent. It looks like it has something to do with this. Come on. Anyways. Sandwich, let's try to sit you down without losing you from your carrier. Assume the spring is commonly lost, and that's why I've never seen one before. But let's see if we can get. Come on. We're just going to leave this off for now. I'm going to try to seat my gears quick. We'll worry about that after. Straight the back screw. Keep it in place. And then the front spring. Let's try this one more time, I guess. Again, you can't see this on camera barely, but it's just a very faint hairspring. Maybe we can get lucky and just thread the needle under. I don't want to use pliers on this, it's so delicate. Go with surgical tweezers. Again, just gonna tip this up. Going to reset those blades, and voila. I'll set my last screw on top. Okay. looks like I've snagged everything. Furthest out. I guess we'll take the small spring and we'll hook it around the post. So now, should see we'll cock this. So it loads up. We're going to just give it a quick, because this is not holding open shutter mode, it's not going to let it close. So, given this would have had the ring on it, you actually see this maneuvering down. Okay, so we're still slow on that. That's what we gotta figure out. Okay, so let's leave that for a second. We are going to just clean the plate up quick. We're going to sit down there and do a test, and we might just be dealing with a slow response due to not having the rest of the mechanisms in. Getting lots of gunk on this plate. Nice and clean. Again, I am not tearing apart the shutters today. I will have a different video for shutters uploaded soon. They aren't impossible, they are just very finicky and time consuming. I would not recommend taking them apart unless you absolutely have to. So, just for grins, let's put the plate back on. Before we do that, I'm going to put this weight screw in. And you'll notice there was a leg on it. This will sit over this post. You slide the spring out of the way, you will see a slight dimple where it sits. Relieving tension might help. Let's get you into your home. Appears I may have forgot some gunk. Just a little bit of varnish right here. So we can get that out. Back in the cam lobe. Next we're going to set on the lid. Only goes one direction. There's also on this particular lens there is a part there. Watch this gear. I was cocking this slightly, can fix that gear. Then we'll clean this weight and add the weight back. This is your 400 speed mechanism. But once I clean this ring, we will then do a shutter speed test. Here. Up there, it came off. Okay, back of the ring is clean. We will take this off and oil this. We're just going to do a demo for now. So, top of the blade. Slower speeds, those are moving fluently. Again, that's why I wanted to put the top on, because that is moving beautifully now. Before that was locking the shutter up. Perfect. And then once I hit this, I should be in the. So, filtering quick. Again, spoon just lightest dab of oil. And make just the lightest rim pass around. Actually, it appears I missed some gunk, so that's good. I'm doing this right now. Just gonna Q-tip this quick. Get all the gunk out there scrubbed out. Just paint this, just the crevice, so you'll see a little recess in there. Again, this oil is a capillary action, you will hardly see it. It's made to be very non-existent. Actually, a little bit of gunk right here in this too. We will you see it'll turn very loosely, very nicely lubricated now. Last but not least, let's get this top scrubbed clean. Because again, that needs to rotate on this disc. And if she's oily, she ain't gonna rotate. It's amazing that 50-year-old technology can be cleaned and it works like new. We don't necessarily make things like they used to anymore, and they definitely aren't serviceable to this point now. So different quality standards over the years. Just give us a very faint coat. I'm actually use my fingers to spread this one. The latest coat ever. So again, this was a twist top. Oh, sorry, I'm getting ahead of the game. Let's insert our screws that are missing. So short one on top, long on the bottom, long on the bottom. Screw those in. Set the ring back on. Now this, again, folks, is the specialty ring where it twisted to seat to the lens. So holes up top. Looks like I should go twist a micro movement. And then get it back in its home. Small little screw here. Go with a slightly wider tip just for sanity. Don't really want to scratch this. A little bit of schmutz. I'd like to get off this body still. A little bit of that lens. Let's just give it a little dab. Again, these shutters don't want hardly any pressure, so please be gentle. So I've cleaned it up. Last but not least, our f-stop lever. So we're just going to put this on quick. See if it's magnetized. Yes, we are. I do love magnetized when it works in my favor, but 90% of the time it doesn't. But 5%, that's worth it alone. Sweet. So we got our functional f-stop again. We have a very smooth rotating dial now. Before that was tight, could hardly move. So we have recock. We should have our time setting. Apologize, there's a bit of cleaner in there still. Our bulb. Perfect. One exposure. Should be two. Should be it's just slightly quicker. Tenth. We should start getting out of our cam. We should start going. Okay, so 25 is running good. 50 might stop seeing on camera. 100, 200, and 400. That little last piece we put on over the spring is the 400, and it is firing. Man, we are back to new, baby. This lens is running perfect. The only thing left is to put the lenses back on and shoot it. So, beautiful Ektar lens. Again, these lenses do slightly change styles over the years. They all operate on the same principle, very same style, so I'm finding out that each of them are very similar with slight modifications to each of them. Yeah, I am happy. This turned out to be a great deal. Beautiful. This lens is absolutely perfect now, so I think it was money well spent. I only paid about 20 bucks on trade. I traded in my number 2 I had strictly for this one because of the high point connectors. Reason was I wanted to start using flash bulbs potentially, or have ability to. Only downside is I gave up my ability of having a lens timer. Then again, I don't know how often I will be now using a lens timer, right? Self-portraits are not big for me, and if we do, we will cross the bridge when we get there. Well, of course, on the here, I'm just going to give this thing a good little cleansing. Side note, we do have a discharge port for a local button. You can set this up top, and regardless of what remote you're in, you will always be open for those who are not used to these. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.